here, say hi. We got somebody else standing here. You don't know who this guy is.
How you doing, guys?
Welcome to Jason Asselin. He knows this area a lot better than I do. I didn't do anything. Oh, we're in trouble.
That's when you put the camera down and you leave running.
How's it going, guys?
Good, how are you? Not too bad.
We're good. What's up, guys? FSC Railroad. I wanted to show you something real quick. I saw in an article on Facebook they were talking about this particular steam engine. And to be honest, I've driven past here a few times with the semi-truck, and I didn't even know it was even here. And then one day I was coming up through here looking for a place to run my side-by-side, and I'm like, oh hell, look at the old Soo Line locomotive right there. We have another one kind of like it down in Appleton. I did a video about that a little bit ago. But also I was looking for an excuse to come up to the Upper Peninsula. Come over here, say hi. We got somebody else standing here. You don't know who this guy is.
How you doing, guys?
Welcome to Jason Asselin. He knows this area a lot better than I do. So we've been yapping. Figured we'd come up here and see what we could find. He knows the ELS better than I do.
Yeah.
I don't think they like you very much.
Not very much.
That's okay.
The Sienna isn't much better up here, I hear, so you don't want to trespass anywhere near their property, but...
Yeah, so this is a weird thing. We're literally on the side of US 41 and I guess Michigan 2. I don't think it's US 2. But anyway, we're literally on the shoulder of the road. Here's the weird thing. Anyway, here's what they were talking about in the article. This is the locomotive they were talking about restoring. I do restore in air quotes because, well, they redid the structure above the locomotive back in 2021. Painted it up, made it real nice. But prior to that, the lights were all burned out. No one could see it. But then they had a pigeon problem. Literally all the pigeons were making a home in there, and you could see how it just really wasn't. Matter of fact, look on top of the cab. You can see all the bird poop sitting on it. That's just, ugh, who wants to see that? But that's the thing. They got a nice fence surrounding it. That's on Canadian national property. So it's like you display a steam train, but you can't even get over to it to see it. It's just there. According to the article I read, the locomotive is actually owned by the town of Gladstone. That's where we're at. We're in Gladstone, Michigan. This, of course, being the Canadian National Yard here in Gladstone.
Oh,
but it's owned... Uh-oh. You're in trouble now.
we're in trouble now. That'll make a group screenshot.
There you go.
What'd you do?
What'd you do? I didn't do anything. Oh, we're in trouble.
That's when you put the camera down and you leave running.
How's it going, guys?
Good, how are you?
Not too bad.
We're good.
Just want to make sure you guys are all set.
Oh, no, we're good. We do a YouTube channel. We're talking about the locomotive.
Sure.
Yeah,
You guys don't mind being on camera, right?
No.
You know,
Okay.
if you go on Google, it says you can actually. I almost said you can trespass, but the trespass, no trespassing sign there.
Yeah,
But
Yeah, that was the...
fenced in.
We're just bringing it up. I'm like, that's the weird thing. If you want people to go see the locomotive, how do you do that? You literally pull on the shoulder of the road,
Right.
or you
That's about it.
pull on the shoulder of the road? What are your options, right?
Yeah.
Great question. Then there goes one of the pigeons.
How long of a trip you guys on? Just a day trip then, or?
I'm actually from Iron Mountain. I cover the Escanaba and Lakesfield Railroad.
Okay, gotcha. That's
So
cool.
he's from what? Foxy.
Yeah, we came up from Freedom, Wisconsin.
Okay. Sure. That's done by Appleton, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you guys like semi-drivers, truck charging, you need to follow him on YouTube.
What's
Yeah.
your channel?
FSC Trucking is the YouTube channel I do for the truck world.
Okay.
And this one here is FSC Railroad.
Okay. We'll have to check it out later.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Yeah, we just saw the flashers on. So we
All
said,
right, hey, no problem.
Okay.
Thank you.
so much
Nice
for
to meet you.
stopping. Not too often you have others actually stop.
Hey, before you kill the light, let me get a picture of the car in front of the bikes and the thing.
Sure.
Got to do it for the thumbnail. Damn, brother, what is it with you?
I'm telling you.
We're hanging out with you for literally 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
All right.
And the officers show up. Truth be told, they just came over just to make sure we're okay because, well, like we're saying, if you want to look at the locomotive, where do you go? That's an interesting thing.
That's it. He just said don't trespass.
Yeah, so
That's news to me.
I don't know what you're supposed to do. So either way, you see the bird poop all on top. They got the cab all closed up. I don't know if that's a pigeon sitting on top. Yeah, right there. See, that's the problem. back to what I was saying earlier. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to raise money to restore. I put that in air quotes because the idea is they want to basically repaint it. The locomotive is owned by the city of Gladstone. However, with that being said, it's on Canadian national property. And if you look closely, they can't even move it, not without rebuilding the tracks. The tracks are only underneath the locomotive. There's no tracks behind the tender. There's no tracks in front of it. Now, what's sad to me is when you see stuff like this, I understand. You can't restore and rebuild every single steam locomotive there ever was on planet Earth. But you can try. At least that's my opinion. See, I've always thought about these cool ideas and why I wanted to come up here, because I started seeing, now that Watco bought up a bunch of stuff that Canadian National didn't want, I started to think that some of these older lines might actually be brought back to service. And maybe something like this one day could be redone. Who knows? I mean, not for nothing, these old lines, this is ex-Soo Line stuff back when, you know, these railroads seem to be buying and selling themselves like banks nowadays, which is kind of sad. But I'd love to see something like this going down the line again one day, personally. But you never know, maybe it's possible. That's why I put these videos out, maybe bring some light to the subject. But up until now, it's a bird's nest for all these dang pigeons. Sure enough, look at that. They are everywhere. That's the other thing too. They repaint it, make it look nice again. The pigeons are just gonna crap all over it. So maybe this is not the best spot for it. But what can you do? What can you do? Yeah, I walked up to the fence line up on the grass here. Look at them birds. What a shame. That door ain't even sealed. Look at that. That door's not even sealed, so animals can get all up in there. I don't know, boys and girls. I guess they're trying. But to me, this just seems like a terrible way to keep a locomotive, you know? I mean, I guess it's better to make it into paper clips and all that, but still. Come on, guys. Step up. Do better than that, right? Who knows? Who knows? Like I said, I built this channel with the idea of them hopefully have some success the same as the trucking channel did. And maybe one day I can get behind something with it. Maybe somebody do something with it, or like I said, bring back some of these restored lines. Especially nowadays with, you know, an economic downturn and diesel prices being what they were. I don't know how expensive you think coal and water is, right? Who knows? All right, big man, let's figure out where another spot is. You know the area better than I do.
I'm guessing you want to see a locomotive railroad of the Escanaba Lake Superior, because they've got some beauties over there. So
that would be nice.
Let's head over there and check it out.
All right, I'll follow you. Let's get at it. You know, there was a thought I was thinking about the whole thing with that steam locomotive. The fact is this. When they're talking about redoing it and repainting it, it's sitting on Canadian National property, like I mentioned earlier. But here's the thing. Canadian National, they forget about it. Like, they literally don't even know it's there. Like, the town of Gladstone needs permission from Canadian National to go on their property to repaint their locomotive. The town of Gladstone's locomotive. But they need permission to stand on a property to get to their own piece of equipment. And the property owner doesn't even know it's there. You got Union Pacific Steam Program out there, and, you know, all they're trying to do is, you know, they run the big boy. They've got, I forget the number, but they got that other locomotive they run out there too. And, you know, they try to get out there and put the old steam engines out there. So, I don't know. I like to see something done, but it's kind of weird that engine just kind of got abandoned there, forgotten about. They try to preserve it, but property, you know, the property rights, or rather whose property it's sitting on, that becomes a problem for that little train. I don't know, but hopefully between me and Jason here, we can get a little bit of attention to it, and who knows, maybe somebody else just say thank you for trying to get attention to it. I'll put a link in the description to the article I read, and they got all the information for donations, because they're looking for donations to it. But hopefully CN will let them get on there and at least repaint it, and maybe one day move it to somewhere where people can actually view it and actually enjoy it, and not have the pigeons crap on it. All right, big dog, so where are we standing? Obviously, we're in the boat ramp parking lot, not railroad property.
Or just outside of Escanaba in a little, I guess, Wells or Wells Township. I think it's Wells. And both of us are looking at some old locomotives sitting here that it's the graveyard, the Escanaba and Lake Superior graveyard. These engines and locomotives will never see the rail again, but they're not going to scrap them because maybe they need them for parts, maybe a headlamp, maybe a railing, maybe a broom. That one even has a broom still sitting on it. So, I mean, what, the bells, all the horns are still attached. The horns on that one are gone, but you know, it's amazing. I can't believe the history that sits here.
Here, I'll spin the camera around. You can see what we're talking about. Look at them all here. We pulled up and I seen him. I'm like, okay, this is what he was telling me on the phone about the graveyard. I don't know. See, I hate to see stuff just kind of laying around like that. Not even, you know, like nobody's doing anything with it. Fix them up, do something. I get it, you can't restore everything, but I guess you're using them for parts.
I know they still have an SD9 that's running, which is one of these.
See, that's 500 right there. I guess that goes with 501, 502, and 503.
Yeah, it's got the cool special markings. You know how the front end is on 502, 50, yeah, you know that.
The one with the GM markings on it.
Exactly, that's the one it matches up to. Everybody in my videos have been asking about ELS 600. There she is. Been sitting here for a few months now. Blown traction motor. The joy of railroading when that locomotive was running freight right past my house. I even saw it with a snowplow on the front, so that was really cool.
That right there is one of my favorite models when it comes to diesels. I don't know why. You know, like in movie cars, you see when like it makes the air horn noise. I'll see if I can find a clip of that. Where's the pass? Oh, right here, the passenger car right behind it. Look at that. Just nature is repossessing it.
Pretty much.
Wow.
They got these railroad or locomotives parked so you can't really see behind there, so you gotta kind of walk back. And all the old buildings back there, I guarantee you there's locomotives sitting in there.
Well, now you were telling me a story about the shark off camera on why you think that why you've been in so much trouble with these people. By the way, the 2 times that I've seen on your videos where the police were called, you weren't even on railroad property yet they still called the cops.
You know, they don't have signs. Look here, do you see any no trespassing signs? Nothing.
There were no signs over at the steam engine either. Matter of fact, the steam engine, if anything, attracts. You put it out for display. You put a steam engine out there like that for display, you would expect people to come and see it.
Absolutely. Then you put a fence around there, so now what do? You're still going to walk up to see it.
Yes, you can't be mad people come to look at it. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to walk up to the fence. If there's an issue with that, well then tell me. I've had no problems with anybody in the past like that. So either way, I get it. It's a fence, don't cross the fence.
Yeah.
But,
no, like I told you, this is the site of 80s or 90s. I think it was the 1980s. Somebody broke in here and they stole manuals and build plates for some of the old locomotives here, and they blamed Railfans. They said Railfans must have done it, but I think it was an inside job because who knew where that manuals were? That's the only stuff they took. And if I was a Railfan and I'm going into a place to steal, I'm not taking manuals of a engine that's not going to help me. I want signage or something big.
Something valuable.
They took something really valuable. It was the only manuals for the engines that they had. So
right.
Those trains can never be used again because they don't know how to fix them. So this shark was tucked away in the 1980s inside this building in Escanaba, Michigan. There's one other one like it inside the building still. And apparently, from what I understand, this one's in the worst shape.
And you told me there's a famous sign now about no trespassing.
Yeah, you know, the one over here used to specifically say, "We are not railroad fan friendly." There's a sign on the other side. I think it says something similar to it, but we'll go over there next.
You know, not for nothing. In my opinion, they're missing the boat, okay? Think about it. You know, when I filmed the other day of the Foxy, and I get it, some people, they don't like being on YouTube, but like right now, we're in public, okay? By the way, I'm on camera too right now, so say hi. Fact is, if you're in public, you have no expectation of privacy at all. None, okay? That's me doing my job. That's railroad workers doing their job. You're in public or even in sight of public. Like if you're working over there cutting the grass and I want to film you from public accessible property, that's just the way it is. If you want that private, build a bigger fence or an opaque fence. But that doesn't make for good neighborhoods anyway, so nobody really wants that. My point is, you know, as a kid, I always liked railroads and trucks. I wound up in the trucking field, okay? And I drive Orwell, and everybody loves to look at Orwell and see, because it's an old 84 cab over, and people are like, oh, that's so cool. So they're always taking pictures and whatnot. And I'm like, okay, cool. Just don't crash into me while you're driving and trying to take a picture for the gram. Other than that, do what you want to do. But if you're a railroad worker and you're like, oh, these YouTubers, I'm like, wait a minute. Granted, I wouldn't want to work for a big major company. However, with that being said, there's not any one of us out there that's not sitting there like, oh man, I'm jealous. And I said that when I saw that female conductor hanging on the back of the train and car, rolling back, and she waved at me. Now that crew was as happy as could be to be there. You could tell they're happy, joyful, and I think that whole attitude is contagious. So I don't know. I come from the school of thought where, look, if you hate your job, quit your job and get a better one. Everybody's hiring now.
How many women are going to see your video and say, wow, I didn't know women could do that?
Yeah, there's no doubt. I know of one down there in Indiana. She works for the Fort Wayne Railroad Historical Society as a volunteer, but also works for the actual railroad. I'm not going to say her name or where she works, but good people, happy people to just be part of the, the rail fan community, for lack of a better term, but also, put out what you do for work, because I wish I could do that. When I see the people hanging on the back of the cars, and I said that looks like a lot of fun. It is. It's got to be a lot of fun.
Love to do it, but
absolutely.
We'd be going to jail afterwards.
Yeah, that's true. so yeah, don't get all upset about it. Be happy. That's the way I look at it. I checked the old wooden caboose back there. Just wow. I can't get a good shot between the rail car and this locomotive, but man, oh man, look at that. Just sitting back there, just. Come on, guys, do something with some of this stuff, huh? I'm sitting there thinking about that steam engine we were just looking at, and I'm like, man, why just paint it? Like, well, you know what? Even just paint it's better, because that's the alternative.
I mean, look at how old that building is right there. What, we're talking 80 years old at least? The brickwork right above that window, or even the old windows, this place has been here a long time.
Every bit of it. Wow. Check that out. This locomotive still has friction bearings on it. Look at that. When's the last time you seen that? I got another cool abandoned videos. I've got other cool abandoned railroad equipment videos to show you in the future. Some stuff I noticed while out with the side-by-sides. This is pretty cool. But man, look at this stuff. There's like a gold mine back here. Just stuff that I don't know if any of it could be restored or used or whatever, but man, oh man.
The yellow ones are Oregon, California, Western.
Wow, that made a trip.
Right?
Look at that.
Say there's an old boxcar on the other side here that's made of wood. And there's the front of 901.
Now look at it right there. Beautiful.
We should be able to see it from the other side when we go over there, but I see there's some rail cars parked on the side of it, but we'll see.
I got this old boxcar sitting right here. Is it even on rails?
Not really sure. That's got some serious age to it.
It's interesting. I'm trying to see if that's a building or an old rail car. That's collapsed right there. Look at that. Probably a building.
Yeah, it looks like an old building.
And then there's, what do you think that orange is back here?
I'm not really sure. It's one of the, 300 and 400, ELS 300 and 400 are those colors, so we'll see when we get to the other side.
Oh, look at that. There's another one back there. Look at that. Man, oh man, oh man.
Yeah, that's the third half. That's there's a front, there's a middle section that doesn't even have any end on it, and then there's that end.
It's not Unit 106 is Door County right on the door, not door, right underneath the window. No, Dane County, D-A-N-E. Now I'm zoomed in tight enough. Dane County. Interesting. Dane County. That's Madison, ain't it?
Yeah, it is actually.
Wow. Way out there. Alrighty, so where you have us now? Uh-oh, look at the sign.
No trespassing.
Yeah.
Property, keep out.
That's right, Jason Asselin. No trespassing.
I've
He
seen
has
the
not
cops with that.
trespassed, and he gets in trouble for it. We're going to touch base on that at the end of this video. I'm hoping maybe I could broker a peace between him and the ELS, especially on my behalf. Because, anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute. So, we're on the other side of where we just were, on a public road, just to cover bases. So, what have we here?
Well, this is, again, the backside of the graveyard, but this is actually the main office of the Escanaba Lakesfield Railroad. They do a lot of repairs. There's a paint booth. That building right to the left and between the back there, that is a paint booth, a mechanical building. And they still maintenance and service a lot of the engines that still operate, which aren't many. But yeah, it's kind of a cool place to be.
Well, the only ones I've seen so far are the 501, 502, and 503. And recently, 503 and 501's been hooked together. 502's just been running by itself.
Yeah.
So, and that was interesting because that one day I didn't bother filming the 502. It was just out there by itself, switching off that one. It's a spur that goes way out west, but he was switching right over there. I don't know what's out that way. Anyway, I wasn't going to wait for him. We were going to go take the side-by-sides out. And sure enough, here it comes southbound, and he was hauling the mail. So I'm like, all righty, well, that's cool.
They do really good speed in Wisconsin. I guess back a few years ago, Wisconsin gave them some sort of a federal grant to rebuild their system or some track. They think put 8 miles of trackage in, and that's probably where you saw them. They can really roll through Pembine area.
Yeah, that's where it was, just north of Pembine, or no, south of Pembine, between Pembine and Cribbets. But even south of there, I've seen a lot of brand new rail ties sitting all next to the line. So I guess they are starting to put some money in it, which is cool. See, I like the old clickety-clack type tracks with the rail joints. The welded rail, you can get some speed on it, obviously, and it's smooth. That's what they prefer. But
and if you
I like the noise. I like the slow ride. To me, it just looks nicer.
If you can ever catch
cooler.
a train in Alena, you will find a slow ride, because if you think the tracks by my house are bad, you have not seen anything.
That's where I seen the new ties. Is over by Lena.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So they're getting ready to redo that.
You better get the video while you can.
So there we go. There's the other side. Here's 901 just sitting there. Again, that's one of my most favorite type of locomotives right there. That's one of the coolest looking ones out there.
It's been sitting there for as long as I can remember.
And a whole row of locomotives. Man, there's like not much left of this one here. It's all, I was going to say primer, but no, that's all rust. I noticed too, a lot of them still got friction bearings. Almost all of them. I noticed even here, the old tank car. You still got friction bearings on it too. I got to look up, see how long the ELS has been around. That's pretty cool. Then we got all kind of passenger cars, baggage cars here. Keep going down the line. Look at them all.
Oh, he's waiting for a road employee to roll up on me here. Like, what are you doing?
Alrighty, boys and girls, so we're going to conclude the video with, let's, for lack of a better term, call it an olive branch. Like I said earlier, I'm going to try to negotiate a nice little peace between the ELS and Jason Asselin here, because there's no reason for this. Think about it. Now, the first time I'm aware of anybody having a beef with Jason here was when he found a locomotive that had derailed. Now, whose fault is that? I don't know. But here's the thing, right? The crew, without major heavy equipment, they got that train out of there, right? Well, that's tenacity. See, from the trucking side of things, a small owner-operator with one rig, 2 trailers, you know, you just make it by what you have. You run what you brung, as they say in the racing world, right? They got that train back on the rail without having to need like a big, huge crane. So, not for nothing, I thought you put that crew in some excellent light.
Yeah, I thought it was really, I mean, the best part of watching is how do you get that massive train back on the rail with pieces of wood, a couple pieces of steel, a frog, and manpower. I mean.
Right. Look at some of these switchers back here. Like, well, you can't see them. Like way back there. Let me take a shot of it quick. That unit right there, that reddish rusty color. You realize that right there is 230,000 pounds or more. Now, what do you think something like this weighs? That weighs a lot more than that. You're probably in the 300,000 pound range. And when you're lifting and re-railing something with that kind of weight with basic hand tools and a frog, I don't know, but I think personally that puts the crew over. That's pretty awesome right there. That's number one. Number two, we're fans of you guys. Do you really think I drove from Freedom, Wisconsin 2.5 hours to come see this because I don't find this interesting?
Wait, I thought you came here to see me.
Oh yeah, that too. But in truth, you know, we're fans of you guys. So if you see us filming, wave to us, say hi. We're fans of you. I mean, yeah, people watch our videos and see you and so on, but hey, you know, I'm easily available. Reach out to me, festcheckshop@gmail.com. I see my emails. Reach out, says, hey, we're going to be here, so-and-so, you know, like to be on your videos. Awesome, collaborate. Heck, I'll come to the bar, have a beer with you, whichever. You know, we're people too. We're not the buttholes that sometimes people think we are. And then the last time you drove over and you said something, the kids were on the line, you said something, and then the sheriff's department comes over to your door.
To warn me about trespassing.
Right, when you're the ones that caught trespassers. So that's kind of silly, you know what I mean? I know, listen, I know my bounds, okay? I know where I can stand, I know where I can't. You know, and I'm not, and nobody here is trying to get anybody in trouble. You know, personally, I think this is cooler than the big class ones. But the big class ones are easier. They're faster and all of that. Maybe it's a little bit easier to film.
It might be a 100-train car, but you're going to film it in, what, a minute?
Yeah, it's gone in like 3 minutes or whatever. Or it's going real slow and it's like, all right, come on, 10 minutes of the same train. You know, so the short lines are more fun to film. Besides, I moved up here to Freedom, Wisconsin. Not here in the UP, but back down in Freedom. And I never even heard of the Escanaba and Lake Superior Railroad until I happened to see one day coming out of the Green Bay yard. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Then people told me, come up here and check it out. So not for nothing, guys. The way I look at it's real simple. You know, we're people too. Reach out to us. Say hi. See what's going on.
Oh, it's like me and you. How did we contact? You sent me a Facebook message, and I contacted you on YouTube, and next thing you know, here we are a week later.
Exactly. So yeah, there's no reason for the bad blood. Not for nothing. But I mean, you got a bigger channel than me, and you know people that got a bigger channel than you.
Yeah,
so
you.
Well, on the trucking side of things,
yeah,
the railroad, I'm struggling with that one. But point is, you know, we can put you guys in a good light too. I mean, you know, it's not hard. All you got to do is just do what you do, and we make it in a good light. I'd be willing to bet you if between the two of us and we film more of the ELS, we can get the ELS more customers, more money.
Right.
And if after all, we're not half
more
afraid.
Customers, we do this more money, more trains, and more stuff for us to film.
Right. So people that work here, they don't bust their ass because they're just good people. They want to just be good to the community. And you make money too in addition to doing good for the community.
Yep.
So right there it is. We could put you guys in an awesome light as well. Help you get more customers, more money, show how hardworking guys you are. And that's got to make it a lot better to sell your services. I know it does for me with the trucking side of things, for sure. So hopefully between this video and whichever video you put out, broker some truths here, guys. As for the couple of people that work for the ELS that might have an attitude, if it's one person, trust me, he's got a bad attitude all day at work and at home.
Bad attitudes don't last long at any job.
Don't forget that video I posted up, and I'll put a link in the description of that one with the Foxy. That crew, top-notch crew. They were happy to be working that day, and that's the way you ought to be. If you don't work up, if you don't wake up every day with the tenacity, be like, yeah, I'm gonna attack this day, and we're gonna do a great job, and I'm actually happy to have a good job that I actually want to do. Don't forget, guys, I went into the trucking. Railroading would have been fun. Maybe some of you railroaders wish you were truck drivers. You never know. Either way, we'll call us a video. Great to meet you. Thanks for showing me around.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll do this again.
Absolutely.
Just
we'll
not
see
on
you
a
soon.
Sunday where there's more trains.
No, for sure. Sunday is not a good day to be here for trains, but it's a good day to see the graveyard any day. So
Absolutely. All right, we're out of here. Now check that out. You brought us here to look at something else, but holy smokes. North Country Heavy Equipment School. With a Caterpillar. Oh wait, that's not a crane, that's a drag line. Look at that. Now that is cool. Oh man, how much would you give to play with that? How much would you give to get to play with one of these?
How about one of those? You got all sorts of heavy equipment to operate and learn how to do. That'd be awesome.
Oh, look at that. I guess it's where you learn how to use heavy equipment. Unlike somebody like me who just moves them on and off the truck. I mean, I could dig a hole, but it won't be pretty. I guess, I don't know. I still like the Caterpillar drag line. I'd rather use that just to have an old piece of equipment.
I'd love to see it on the back of your truck going down the highway. That would look awesome.
That would be cool. Well, we need to make money with these videos. We could buy stuff like that.
Right, right.
There you are. Well, that's not why you brought us here to look at Caterpillars.
So now we're on another site of the Escanaba Lakesfield Railroad. They refurbish old rail cars. They refurbish all sorts of cars, CN cars. Anyway, that needs new trucks, new wheels, new brakes, whatever it is. That's where they make their money from. They don't make money transporting their old equipment back and forth, and they really make their money at this facility. But there's 4 old passenger cars sitting at the warehouses behind that you see. Both of them, they are filled with railroad engines, locomotives. The old Shark unit, I think it's an RF-14. It's one of the recent videos of the Shark nose that they own. There's another one sitting in there. My understanding is there's even old steam locomotives and just all sorts of things. John Larkin is a very, very, very wealthy railroader.
Now he's the man that owns the ELS.
Oh yeah, and don't take his equipment and everything you see in crappy rail line that he has. Don't even think that for 1 minute this man doesn't have money. He is very, very wealthy.
Well, this over here, the buildings look like they're in much better shape than what over there at that graveyard.
If you go to the museum in Duluth, Minnesota, there is at least 2 passengers, including an old pickup truck, railroad truck that are in the museum that came through here. So he does a lot of refurbishing for museums.
You know what I see would be pretty cool? I've seen pictures of it. Somebody took an old like K100 cab over Kenworth, replaced the rear end with a train truck, and literally put a train truck right underneath where like your tow hook would be. So it literally has the wheel wells underneath the cab of the truck. Basically, think of a Kenworth version of Orwell with railroad wheels underneath it.
That's what one of the trucks were. I think it was a 4-door, like almost like a Suburban would be today, but an old one. And I think it has railroad wheels for wheels, and that's what they use down the rails.
That would be cool. Meanwhile, I had a crazy idea. I'm sitting there thinking about the suspension on my Razor. I'm like, put railroad wheels on that, but not a gauge would change if you hit bumps.
So the funny story about that.
Plus, there's nowhere to run it.
So the funny story right there about where those passenger cars sit, the line those passenger cars is the only line to get them out of that building behind them. But to get them out of the building, they have to bring in their tracks and ties, build it in the parking lot, bring the train out onto that, and then they have a system to move the entire train onto where this line is, where those passenger cars are, and then they move it away. So It's an all-day process just to get one car or one locomotive out of that building because there is no tracks going to it.
Wow.
If you look on Google Maps, there is no tracks going to that building.
I'll have to check that out. Cool. Now, we heard a train earlier today, either leaving or coming out of Gladstone, or couldn't find them, though.
No, the CN, I mean, this is the CN line, too, that runs right here. And Escanaba, Lake Superior across.
Oh, there's a diamond right there.
Yeah, there's a diamond right there. Not very often I get to see a train come across here, but when the Shark was being moved, obviously we got to watch it come across here. And yeah, it's quite the thing to watch.
That had to be something to see.
Yeah, I wasn't supposed to know, but I was the only person doing video. There was another guy doing camera, and to be quite honest, they looked quite shocked to see me because how did I know that they were moving something secretly from the building that day? I'm not telling.
I think you already have on your videos. But you'll have to watch this video to find out. Oh, well, that's a bad day then.
Sunshine, and it says Sun Jeep on the license plate.
I had cars that, believe me, I had cars I wish would have caught fire.
Not this one.
It'd be an easy way to get rid of it. Oh man, the campers are gonna go too.
What about that? How is that for luck?
You just never know.
It's not good luck for them, but
No,
I mean,
that's a classic old Coachman too.
and if my stuff was going to literally burn up, I would want at least a video of it, so at least they could use this for insurance if they had to.
Absolutely. I don't know, man. They might have saved the camper.
Well, one thing is they have no hydrants here, so you gotta bring water. Actually, probably should take
How was that? A Jeep Gladiator?
Looks like it.
Yeah.
What did she say, Steve?
She called it a Jeep. That's a Jeep Gladiator. That's the pickup one.
Hot or something, right?
Yup. Ooh, not so good. I think that's fixable.